China was a very humbling experience, working in the orphanage and getting to see all the people in Tiananmen Square so awestruck by Canadians. It really made me appreciate living in Canada.
What I liked about the travel studies courses, it was an all-around good thing. Like, we got to help out people we got to help out the orphanage. We met a whole bunch of people. We got closer to people, and all we had to do was do our do volunteering and came in at lunches, and that was it. It was easy.
I learned I'm probably never going to speak Mandarin. I thought when I went there, I thought, okay, I know a bit of Mandarin, and I got there, no.
I learned a lot of history about China, considering it's 1,000 years old compared to our very new country.
Well, I guess my part was the jade factory, and it was really cool. I never really knew what jade was before I went to China, but it was what was really neat is when you'd feel it, it was really cold, and I thought that was so cool. And we seen tons of stuff at this factory. Another great thing was the food was amazing.
The Great Wall was a lot steeper than I imagined it being. It was a lot of work. We ended up going as high as we could in a short amount of time.
I really enjoyed walking up the steep side of the Great Wall. It was a challenge.
By going to China, I realized that I'd like to travel more in the world and see a lot more countries.
The food in China, I loved it. I never thought I would because the food here, like the Chinese food here, is completely different. It's gross, and stuff there is, I thought I was going to gain a lot of weight. There was not a lot of salt on anything, like especially the fries and everything, which was a huge change.
The architecture in China, it's unique, it's different, but it's also beautiful. And I thought it was a big step from most of our cities in Alberta, and it's cool. And with China, it's unique, but it's also very large. There's lots of people.
What I learned about going to China, that I very much enjoy Chinese architecture and how different it is than ours.
I liked Mr. Chow, our bus driver. He was very good. Managed to pull off the U-turn in the middle of a very busy intersection, so that was cool. The plane ride, I was not too big of. I'm scared of heights. The overnight train was cool. That was very interesting.
Okay. It was fun to work at the orphanage because, I don't know, it was like you helped, like you felt like you did something for not only yourself, but you did it for others. Like you were able to interact with other people, and to see that even though we don't speak the same language, we can still like get things done. And I don't know, it was amazing.
Working in the orphanage was kind of cool because you got to see how they did their work and work with friends.
Really awesome to go watch the curling while in China, to watch the men's worlds. It was really awesome to be able to support Canada while they're in an international event, and just get a good appreciation to see how they curl. And it was just really awesome to be able to meet them after the game and to be able to talk to them. And
I learned by going to China that their history runs a long ways back and is still affecting and still present in their today's culture. And yeah, that all the emperors in the past has had such a huge effect on them.
What impressed me about the Summer Palace was all the beauty in the trees and how well taken care of it was, and all the statues and the buildings and everything that surrounded it. And the beauty just captured me.
I learned that I'm a lot more responsible than I thought I was.
Well, I just got to have a broader perspective about the world and just to really appreciate what I have and just to compare what they have in China compared to what do I have, and it just makes me really appreciate what I have and where I live.
When I went to Beijing Zoo, I learned about each panda in the world is actually owned by China, that every country that has one actually just rents it from the government.
I definitely would like to travel more and see more of different cultures.
The train ride from Beijing to Xi'an was my first train ride, and I really enjoyed being able to sleep. It was way better than the plane because we could wake up in Xi'an and the train had already passed by.
I've learned that we are so fortunate here in Canada, and that everywhere around the world are not as privileged as we are, and I just appreciate everything that we have here.
At the White Goose Pagoda, we saw a lot of monks and a lot of different kinds of aspects of their religion and stuff, and it was pretty cool.
I learned that I really like to travel and I'd like to go more places and help out at orphanages.
The terracotta warriors in China was very interesting. I really liked the amount of warriors that they actually found and the size of the area that they were actually in.
Well, I really learned about myself on this trip is that I'd like to travel more to experience different cultures and just to have a broader perspective of the world and where we live.
This experience has put me in a position where I would love to travel more around the world because China has opened my doors, and I've noticed that there's so much more to the world than just what we have here in Canada, and I would just love to visit more of it.
What I learned about myself is I learned that I really enjoy traveling and I really enjoy experiencing other cultures, and having this opportunity was just life-changing and wouldn't want to change a thing about it.
It is very different than Canada. It is a lot of people, and for a country kid being in the city is totally different. A lot of people take pictures because it's rare for them to see different, blue eyes and stuff like that. And I was happy to come home, but the experience was amazing. And yeah.
China was nothing like I expected. Everyone made it sound like it would be a dictatorship and we would all have to be so on our best behavior and strict. But being tourists there, we got VIP treatment and it was awesome.
learned that like your attitude is what matters. Like it doesn't matter like what kind of environment you're in. If it's like if someone's a little upset or anything, that as long as you keep a good attitude, like it affects your experience.
I learned that I really like to see other cultures and just take that big step into the unknown. I want to do that more often now.
The thing I liked about China is you're allowed to bargain with everybody and everything you wanted to buy in the market.
I like the opera and how they use makeup and costumes and different props to just express and tell the story.
I'd like to thank the school board for letting us go to China. It was awesome. I loved it.
I would just like to thank all the school board members for this incredible opportunity to go to China. This was a trip of a lifetime, and it was something that we would never forget and never be able to experience again.